To go live, Penny.
Yeah. Oh, you're the worst, Penny. Yeah. Okay, sorry. It's a lot closer this week. There we go. Hey, everybody. Hey. Welcome to the 40/40 Men.
I think we just got like a 0 and then a lower part of 4.
Welcome to the IO Men. It's a baseball podcast that features a fellow who knows a heck of a lot about the sport and, well, someone else. I am that someone else. My name is David Bronfman, and I'm your interim co-host.
And I'm the other someone else, and my name is Greg.
Yeah. So say hello. And, well, welcome to the depths of despair, I suppose, everyone.
Well, I mean, depths of despair in terms of Jays, as far as the Jays are concerned.
Yeah.
To give you a heads up, our elimination number is 6.
Our elimination number is 6. So that's
from the division, 19 for the wild card. Baltimore and Kansas City have both been eliminated mathematically from making the playoffs at all.
Yeah.
But
So
we are 19 better.
Yeah. So we're not.
You can physically grade it.
Not absolutely dwelling in the basement. If you'll excuse me, I believe there's an emergency. Why don't you start off the show for us, Greg?
No problem. All right. I'll let Dave take care of the medical correspondent. Here, let's move into a close-up. I know this is probably horrible for you, but let's do a little quick recap of what happened last week. Not a lot for us. We faced a Yankee team that was a little angry from being blanked in Boston, pretty much. So they tore a strip out of us. We faced a pitcher who we gave up to the Yankees, and he kind of dominated us as well. We sent a kid who it was his second major league start, got hammered, and we promptly sent Sean Reed-Foley back down to the minors, which I feel bad for him because, the Yankees are tearing the cover off the ball. But in the last week and a half, 2 weeks, we have seen that we've got a catcher on the rise. We've got Danny Jansen, who is a bespectacled dude, similar to Brett Cecil, although he's got a little cooler ones. They're Nikes. I don't remember what Brett Cecil's were. And these are Wardy Parker. Cheap but good.
Yeah.
Cheap but good. But yeah, Danny Jansen is looking like the real deal. And I'm a big fan. Mm-hmm. But I kind of feel bad for Sean Reed-Foley for coming up and then having to face that smack in the hell of the ball, and then getting getting blamed for it. Right. So, but don't worry. I mean, Boston officially can lose the rest of their games, and they are above 500 because they've now won 88 games. There's 50. Some teams have a little less than 50. Some teams have a little more than 50. But just based on right now, it's around 50 games left in the season. So, I mean, if the Jays went out, they can get 106 wins.
It can still happen.
Okay. Totally.
Yeah. All right. Once again, you've instilled a brand new sense of hope into me. And so, we're working at the youngins. Mm-hmm. And
that's essentially what's going to happen for the rest of the year.
And this guy, Danny Jansen, he hit a home run.
Throwing out 3 batters. Throwing out 3 runners, I should say. Did launch one into center field on a throw, but I mean, I chalked that up to nerves.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But he's doing all right. And then tell me about Justin Schaefer. That's someone that I don't really know much about. Mm-hmm. So I'm at a loss for this one here because we're bringing up so many different guys in this little span of week. We brought up tonight Thomas Pannone is starting, and we got him via a trade from Cleveland last year for Joe Smith. Everyone remembers that name, Joe Smith. Of course.
But I mean, there's not much of a record on this guy because March 16th, he was banned for 80 games for testing positive for a banned substance.
Good times. It's a post Jose Canseco world.
Yeah. Okay. Dihydrochloromethyltestosterone or Flintstone vitamins, like the Bam Bam ones.
Of course.
So he's had a little sniff of a game on the 10th when he went in for about an inning. Yeah. But he's getting the start tonight against Baltimore. So take that into
Well, it's a good way to get him to stretch out his major league legs, right?
Yeah, but that's the thing is like look at the pitchers and look at the batters that we brought up. Like we don't have a consistent lineup 2 games in a row because why not? You're in the position that there's going to be 5 teams that are going to get 100 wins. One of those teams isn't going to make it. Cleveland's going to win the Central Division. So the Jays are in this sort of. It's beneficial, I guess, because it's not going to hurt their season because there's no hope. So why not bring all the kids up and see how they do? But I'm not sure on Justin Schaefer. I'm looking into a hell of a lot of other guys because there's been 20 call-ups in the last month.
Well, look, all I know is that Justin Schaefer went he went scoreless in his MLB debut versus the Yankees, right?
Yeah.
That's really all I know about him. Is there anybody else of the young people that are showing sparks, or anyone considering you don't remember him, anyone that's memorable?
No, but that's the thing. It's like that was one instance of a game, which is great, which is phenomenal. I don't know his record prior to this, but. Some of the guys that have stood out, I mean, even though they've come up earlier on, Sam Gaviglio.
Okay.
He seems to have stuck himself in a rotation by pure, other end of J luck because every single person is injured. I mean, so we've got no one else, and he's done fine. He's done fine. But I mean, you look at who was supposed to be the starters at the beginning of this year. Okay, so you have J Happ.
Gone.
You have Marcus Stroman, injured. Aaron Sanchez, injured.
Yeah.
Marco Estrada, back and forth on good and bad, and also injured as well. And I mean, the fifth starter was always sort of a mess. It was either Joe Biagini. It was we brought in a bunch of different people. Like we even used the starter by committee that Tampa Bay has been doing for a bit. And then now we've got Ryan Borucki and Sam Gaviglio.
And at some point, Russell Martin.
And Russell Martin did come into pitch too.
Yeah.
But I mean, and then now we've got a Roy Monkey coming up. So I don't know. Maybe he can throw 100.
Whatever, at this point, whatever it takes.
This has been it's a fun season, but it's a tough season to be a Jay fan considering we had such good luck with injuries the couple of years previous because we had an old team and none of them got hurt. And then apparently, I don't know, like maybe they changed the feeding time at Country Kitchen Buffet or something. And it really messed with their sleeping patterns because every single old person fell off the wagon on that one. I mean, Tulo he's probably been cleared to play online baseball.
Yeah.
Like maybe a fantasy league. That's about it. Josh Donaldson, same deal. And Josh Donaldson, unfortunately, is in a contract year, so he's not going to get paid. And,
I did hear right before the broadcast that Josh Donaldson, by team trainer Nicky Huffman, has been cleared to stack or play with stackable blocks.
Well, I've got a theory on where he's going to go.
Well, they were only letting him use Lego beforehand because those actually connect together, but now he can actually balance block upon block. They're letting him do that just for a little while. If any of them fall down, they're going to have to take him back to rehab.
Yeah, because he might step on it and then twist an ankle or something.
Yeah.
But, my theory, I've got 2 of where he's going to go because there's a few teams that are interested in him. But I think he's either going to go to Cleveland or he's going to go to Atlanta. Cleveland, because Cleveland's in the hunt for essentially a division championship and might need a little extra power. Shapiro and Adkins obviously have ties with Cleveland. They most definitely can sort of.
Is that how you pronounce it, Shapiro?
I know, it's annoying. It's annoying. It looks like it should say Shapiro.
I've never met a single Shapiro at Shul.
Neither have I.
Yeah. Not a single time when I went to Cheder or Hebrew school have I seen a
Shapiro. I know.
All right, go on.
But yeah, so and I know 3 other Shapiros. But yeah, so those guys know the farm system. They sort of know what they can get back because they probably drafted them like about 3 years ago. And then it's on the other end of the spectrum going to Atlanta. Atlanta's in a pennant hunt / wild card hunt. And they're a young team on the rise. Donaldson is from the Florida area, so that's sort of a little closer to home for him. But I mean, who's the GM there? The GM is Alex Anthopoulos, who
I knew that
was an old J GM, and he's the guy that brought Donaldson over. So it's sort of serendipitous on both ends of the spectrum. And I think those are the 2 destinations. If Donaldson does get moved at the August 31st deadline, that's where he's going to be.
Do you think he's going to be moved?
I think he is. because the way Vladdy Jr. is playing down in Buffalo.
And then they're going to just bring him up.
Bring him up. Yeah, they'll bring him up next year, because if they bring him up at a specific time, then it's they'll own his rights next year for the full, essentially 5 to 7 years of whatever the contract they give him.
Oh, wait.
If they bring him up now, it sort of dives into a contract.
Okay, so in baseball, like it's like it starts the moment your toes hit a baseball, like a major league baseball field.
If you play a certain amount of games, and I mean, the whole purpose of them is they want to maximize the amount of time they're getting out of him.
Yeah, no, I get it.
So why bother bringing him up when he's doing so well down there? Like, you got to bring up sort of like the middling to decent guys. Like, he's baseball's #1 prospect. Everyone knows he's gonna kill it.
So this is why you can. Baseball is so confusing. This is why you can retain the draft rights to a person who is well into their 60s.
Yeah.
They just have just one day you might call him up.
Pittsburgh still had the draft rights to Fidel Castro. He was apparently a good pitcher in Cuba back in the day.
Well, all you need is a shovel and an inflatable boat and some wherewithal.
But I mean, I don't know if that guy really did anything. Like, what's his value to history? He, could have been a pitcher with the Pirates organization, except he stayed in Cuba. Whatever.
All the cigars.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Idiot. What an idiot. But yeah, so the Jays are in a sort of an enviable / unenviable position where they can sort of do what they want with the season, and no one is expecting anything from it. So like, you can fill the stadium and no one gives a shit. Everyone, although this series we got to win because we're playing Baltimore, so at least beat up on something that we are 19 better than.
I think that the Blue Jays have played every single Tuesday since I've started doing this.
You essentially do. You might get the Monday off, you might get a Thursday off, but the way it's based is, with the exception of the All-Star game, which was on a Tuesday as well, because they're either 2, 3, or 4 game series. So as opposed to flying around every single day, they fly around sort of every other day kind of deal. Or you go for, a stretch of 10 days at home or something. But it'll be a 3-game or 4-game series. So Monday is basically the only off day you can get, or Thursday.
So you don't get time off for Shabbos.
No, because you can do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then go right into another series Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There's always a game Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
Bar none. There's always a Tuesday game. There's always a Wednesday game. You might get Thursday or Monday off, but that's it.
I see. Yeah, and again, of course I checked the Vegas odds, and strangely, the Blue Jays are standing pat at 4,999 to 1 to win the World Series, which I have come to learn that Vegas will pay off for a World Series win. So they're pretty much
done for. Yeah,
they're pretty much at the limit. At the limit.
We're tied with San Diego, because San Diego still is alive. Miami, who is still alive.
Yeah.
Cincinnati, although they tied us with the Mets too. That's just it's depressing.
All right, while we're talking about this, I have I wanted to give a little quiz.
Sure.
I want to give you a little quiz. Okay, folks, this comes with a little bit of a warning because I wanted to do this a little bit of like a screencast. We keep talking about our lovely software, Stage10.tv. This problem has nothing to do with them. This was my fault. I was the one who screwed up trying to screencast today. But what I do have is my remote camera, which is right over here. And this is my remote camera. And I'm going to use my remote camera to screencast off of another computer. And so that means that Greg can actually do the screencast test.
All right.
So here we go. I'm going to go. Okay. So are we actually going live off of my camera now? Oh my God, this is amazing. Okay.
Well, I'm there. I think it's a little frozen on the camera. At that point.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So I'm going to go in. I sadly don't have a preview here, but I'm just going to go into. This is going to be incredible production values. Oh no, it's not Donkey's Love. Sorry. Okay, wait. I'm so sorry about that. I'm so sorry. That was another thing that I was doing. Now hang on a second. We're going to play a game of Hangman.
Hangman. Okay. Do you want me to move up to the top?
Well, I'm just sort of like sort of all over the place here because I don't actually have a preview on this thing. But
shift it over a little more.
Okay.
There we go.
Well, that's where we're going to be. But before we go, why don't you just shift over to your regular view of you, and I'm just going to tell you what this little contest is. Okay. So this is going to be a little segment that I like to call it. I like these odds.
All right.
It's called I like these odds,
okay.
And it has to do obviously with Vegas odds. Now there are. I'm going to say that this 4,999 to 1 bet is basically Vegas saying there is no chance.
Yeah.
There is a mathematical chance that you could win, but there is absolutely no chance.
So the most they'll do is 5,000 essentially, right? So like that one extra dollar is the 5% chance.
It's Vegas saying that there's no hope, even though the math says that there is hope.
Yeah,
is that? Yeah. So I'm basically going to call that a non-viable bet. Now I'm going to have some questions for you based on non-viable bets.
Okay.
All right. So and now we're going to start our game of hanging. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Now I do have my little preview.
There we go.
Okay.
Cool.
Oh, that's what goes on. All right. So we're going to play a game hang it, and I'm just going to start us off. I'm just going to put the head in already because
I'm going to lose.
All right, so
just so we know. All right.
I'm putting that head in. No, because I think you're because I got to give because you know a lot about baseball, so I'm just keeping that head in.
Okay.
All right. So there is in all of Major League Baseball, there is only one team that has a non-viable bet to win the World Series. That means that Vegas says they cannot win the World Series, and yet they are still in it to win their division. Only one team.
Oh,
they're still Vegas is still taking bets for them to win their division.
That is that's I would say Texas Rangers.
Oh no.
No. Actually, no. It's the West. Sorry, wrong West.
So I'm doing it. Okay, so I gotta put in the body. So
damn it.
Body.
I meant to go National League West. I would say it would be
to win their division.
To win their division.
Yes. Still in it.
Still in it to win the division. God damn it. Oh, no. Central. Chicago White Sox.
Oh, I got to put another arm on you. Here, wait. So here's an arm. There we go. Just going to have you wave a little bit to everyone. Okay. Hey, everybody. I'm hanging.
Central.
Okay. So you guessed two. So there's one team that has a non-viable bet to win the World Series, yet they're still in it, and Vegas is still taking bets for them to win their division. You guessed twice.
Oh man, this is killing me. It's not going to be. It can't be San Diego. It can't be Miami. It's gonna go random. I'm gonna say Cincinnati.
Okay.
Do I get a leg?
I'm gonna give you 2 more fingers, and I'm gonna sell you an arm for the answer to that one because I got more. Okay.
Okay. Cool. Are they national or American?
Is it okay if I say I don't know? It is the Detroit Tigers. We're still in it to win their division. Vegas is taking bets at 4,000 to 1.
Okay, cool. I was for some reason I was thinking way lower in the standings than that. So Detroit's actually a little less than the Jays, but because the Central in the American League is still like Cleveland can still lose it.
Yeah.
Obviously, Chicago and the Royals can't do it.
I've sold you an arm for that.
All right.
And it's a big.
It's a muscly.
You're right-handed, right?
I am. Yes.
This is for those lonely nights.
Yes, it is.
Okay. This is a tough one because you're running out of body parts. And
that's all right.
So now we have there. This is probably going to be easier for you. There are 6 teams. Six teams in all of Major League Baseball who have a non-viable bet to win the World Series. Mm-hmm. Yet Vegas is still taking bets for them to win their league. To win their league, and there's 6 teams for that.
Okay, well that's got to be in the National League then. So I'm gonna say they're not viable bets for the World Series, but they
can still win. Like Vegas says, they can still win the league, but they say that they cannot win the World Series.
That's
strange,
tough.
Right?
Yeah, that is tough.
Really tough.
Okay, so that's going to be like their league is in like the entire National League.
Entire National or the
okay,
entire
well, it has to be It has to be national because the American League is pretty much said and done.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say the Mets. The Mets are probably in there.
Because out of 6 teams, the Mets are not in there.
Oh, come on. Come on.
So here comes a leg.
Oh, God damn it.
One leg. There we go.
Okay, we're going to go the Nationals.
I'm putting on another leg.
I'm trying to figure how they can win a division and not win.
How they can win the league and not win the World Series,
World Series.
And be given 0 odds to win the World Series.
0 odds to win the World Series.
It's a mathematical quirk.
Yeah. All right, then I'm just gonna guess the St. Louis Browns, the Montreal Expos, the Washington Senators.
All right, all I'm doing now is
the Seattle Pilots.
I'm just giving you a Charlie Brown zigzag.
Yeah.
And we're going to call it a day. Okay.
All right.
Because I guess so let's.
It's got to be National League. It's got to
go back to the main camera here, and
it's got to be National League.
I'm back. So let's go back to the main camera.
All right. Cool.
So we've got. You already said one.
Washington Nationals.
It was the Detroit Tigers, obviously, because you said that because they are still in to win their division. So
if they can get 100 wins, then yes. Okay. Yeah. So then Toronto Blue Jays.
Toronto Blue Jays, 4001.
Okay, so that's where we're going on this one. Yeah. I was figuring out where the math was. Okay, so then Chicago White Sox.
No.
Actually, no, they can't. It can be the Detroit Tigers. It can be the Toronto Blue Jays, the Tampa Bay Rays.
No.
Really?
Okay, so I'm going to
Tampa Bay's above us. They've got to be.
So I'm guessing that that they have like plugged it into their mathematical models, and this is just the bizarre stuff.
I'm looking at this here.
Okay, so as we do it, I'm just
Twins, Minnesota Twins.
I'm amazed. You're there now. Now there are 5 legs on this hangman.
Oh God. The Texas Rangers.
4,000 to 1 to 4,000 to 1 to win the league.
The Jays. So that's 2. The Tigers.
The Tigers, yeah.
Tigers. The White Sox?
No.
So and it's not the Twins?
All right, I'm just gonna skip over this. There's 3 left.
The Angels.
It's the Padres. 4001. The Marlins.
And the Reds.
2001. Yeah. Reds are of that group. The Reds are the
have the better chance.
Have the best chance to win the league, yet somehow if they win the league, they're not winning the World Series.
But that was racking my brain.
Well, there goes. That's that segment of I like these odds, and I don't think we're ever going to do that ever again.
Well, no, it's a fun segment, but it's just at first I couldn't follow that question because if you win, then you're already in the pot.
Yeah.
So I mean, you should be.
Well, look, I had to think of something that could stump the master.
Well, but that's great. Because I don't know everything. I like knowing a lot of things, but that was tough.
This is a bizarre one, and we're just going to chalk it up to.
I got one giant arm. I got a Charlie Brown jersey.
Yeah.
And apparently I have a club left foot.
Yep. You have 2.
Yeah,
so that's the.
Here we go.
That's the hangman. Next time we're just gonna figure out how to screencast before we play that game.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's move on. Let's move on, everybody.
Well, one of the things that I sort of wanted to tackle today, which was actually kind of fun, one of the big rituals in baseball is throwing out the first pitch.
Yeah.
And this weekend, Chicago White Sox had a nun from Marian Catholic School who literally, and some sports writers were going, oh, well, it was a ball. But I mean, she gunned it in there, and I mean, if the catcher would have framed it a little properly, that was a legitimate strike. And it was like she even started off with a ball bouncing off the bicep kind of deal, and literally fired in there at a good solid 80.
Okay, her name is Sister Mary Jo Sobiek.
Yeah,
and Are you serious? There were actually commentators that
they were joking. They were totally joking.
Throwing shade.
They were totally joking because I mean, if you remember 50 Cent, like boom, that was over. Yeah, there's been some horrific ones, but I like the ritual of throwing out the first pitch.
Yeah,
is kind of awesome. But I mean, like that was actually a good pitch.
Well, because of that, I looked up a little bit about the history of the
baseball rituals
of the first pitch.
Okay,
I did. Have you looked up any of that sort of
stuff? I didn't do it of the first pitch. I did it of just sort of rituals in baseball.
Do you mind if we talk about it a little bit?
Go nuts.
Yeah, because anyhow, I'm just going to say it's part of the segment of what did Dave learn this week, even though we don't have an introduction. I'm just going to do it myself. Dun 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 dun. What did Dave learn this week? All right. So I delved into the season opener first pitch, which is
that's a big one,
which is traditionally and often like it's done by a lot of different people, a lot of famous people, but somewhere in the league and usually in Washington, it's done by the president of the United States, and this was a tradition that started in 1910 with
the Orioles.
Was it the Orioles?
Well, it would have been the Washington Senators at the time.
Oh yeah, it was the Senators. Yeah, and with William Howard Taft.
Ooh, Taft,
lovely
dog.
Lovely portly gentleman, William Howard Taft, and he was actually convinced because he actually was a friend of the commissioner of baseball at the time, and was convinced to do this publicity stunt to bring people to the stands. And it's a stunt that actually worked. They filled up the stands. 12,000 people came to watch William Howard Taft throw out the baseball, and at that time that was a record for the Washington Senators. And what he did is he threw it from the grandstand. He didn't get up to the pitcher's mound. Didn't do a mound visit. Threw it from the grandstand, and from that point onwards, it became a presidential tradition. And for many years, it was done from the grandstand. They didn't really set foot on the field. The weird thing about Taft and that first pitch that he did was that he threw it from the grandstand to the catcher and accidentally threw it to the pitcher. So you think 50 Cent's pitch was off?
Well, that
was Taft, and it has gone basically straight through for over a century, but it has not gone uninterrupted. In 1912. The first pitch was not thrown out by the president. It was thrown out by Vice President James S. Sherman. The Titanic had just sunk.
Yeah.
And it was a national tragedy, and people were in mourning, and the president thought that it would not be appropriate.
The Fenway Park opened the day that it sunk. Yeah.
Get out, really? Yeah. So, because this is right at the beginning of the season. Yeah. And FDR skipped it during the World War II years. Which is
FDR, obviously, it was in a wheelchair.
He could still move his arms.
He was not the most mobile.
He was doing out of reverence and a somber attitude towards the war. Yes. He still had fully capable arms, just not really
good legs.
Polio. And some presidents they only do it once. Like they're in office for like 4 years or 8 years or whatever. They only do it like a couple of times. And Jimmy Carter didn't do opening day. He did the World Series for his term. Yeah. He eventually did throw out the first pitch for opening day, but it was in 2004. Yeah. Long after.
Well, the funny thing is everyone knows Jimmy Carter was a much better president after being president.
and apparently a much better pitcher after being president as well. President Trump hasn't done it yet.
Yeah, I highly doubt he can throw a baseball.
Donald Trump, as a private citizen and as a student in military academy, was actually a very good baseball player and was scouted by the Phillies.
Wow.
Yeah. If you can believe what's happened to the man since.
The heel spurs that kept him out of the army, but
he went to military academy.
But could still keep him in baseball.
He's actually thrown out 3 ceremonial pitches. Like as a private citizen. One time he actually landed a helicopter in the middle of the field of the Somerset Patriots, not affiliated with Major League Baseball, to throw it. So he landed a helicopter to throw out the first pitch. Didn't want to walk to the mound. He was entering into his lazy years. So apparently he has a really strong arm, good bat. He himself said that he was the best baseball player in New York when he was young.
Well, I mean, everything is the greatest with him. So
yeah, that one I'm not really. That one I'm just throwing out there. But yeah, he was actually scouted. The best pitcher in of all the presidents,
Obama,
Harding.
Harding. Oh, William G. Harding.
Harding.
Warren G. Harding.
Warren G. Harding. They said that he had a real fireball, is what the newspapers said,
and also a big womanizer too.
Yeah,
huge. Yeah.
I got a real quick list because I know we're running short on time. But I got a real. Oh, he was a womanizer.
Oh yeah, that was a sex scandal that brought him down.
Yeah,
that and the teapot dome.
Well, history just might be repeating itself as of today.
What Manafort got indicted, or not?
Hey, look,
he got found guilty. Yeah.
And Cohen as well. There's a lot of stuff going down as well. So now we've got Burgundy Weber Lafort has given us a wave.
Hello.
Fan of the show. Calvin Strawn, is that how you pronounce his last name? Has given us a wave. Sweet. So thanks for joining us today. So we've got the best pitches done by ceremonial pitches, the best ones. You may even remember some of these, not just presidents, but also
there was the circus performer that did like a cartwheel.
I saw her, but I don't have her on my list, but I remember that. But one of the best pitches apparently is 5-time Olympic gold medalist swimmer Katie Ledecky, who did throw it low and outside, but it was a strike. But it was solid. It was solid. Of presidents, Bill Clinton, good pitch. And then the super famous one, the famous one
50
of presidents.
Oh, of presidents. Oh, really?
It's so famous. It goes down in the annals of
Is it George Bush Sr.?
George Bush Jr. Right after September 11th.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you just meant like actual best pitch, like actual.
No,
actual
this was he threw a strike.
Oh, nice.
He threw a strike, and he was wearing like full body armor, like a full bulletproof vest. It's 3 weeks after September 11th. He goes to New York City and goes out there. He says it was the most nervous he's ever been in his entire life, and he goes out there and he throws a strike, and it's like the best thing that this president ever did, hands down. Also really good ones were Snoop Dogg in 2012.
Snoop's actually he's a huge athlete. Like he plays basketball and he's also an amazing football player too. Like he actually coaches little league football, and he's actually got 2 players that are now drafted in the NFL that he used to coach. Yeah,
really, really.
Yeah, he was a tight end and wide receiver.
I love
quarterback. Yeah,
I love this guy.
Yeah.
Then also good ones were Supreme Court Justice and huge baseball fan
Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
No, huge baseball fan. Huge baseball fan. We've talked about her before.
I know. She's
fan of the show. Chief Justice Sonia Sotomayor threw a strike, and Matthew McConaughey, apparently a good baseball player.
I can see that from Texas.
Yeah. Worst throws,
50 Cent.
50 Cent, absolute worst one. Who threw it basically into the dugout?
Yeah,
as I recall. Oh, by the way, Robin Huzoko giving us a thumbs up. Fan of the show, Robin Huzoko. Hey, how you doing? And bad throws, Supreme Court Justice, and fan of Darth Vader, Samuel Alito. May he rest in peace. Kim Kardashian, not a good baseball player.
I can imagine that.
Threw it low and a couple meters behind the batter. When Nolan Ryan was called to throw out a ceremonial first pitch, he threw it pretty much where Kim Kardashian threw it. And
we got to give him a pass though, because he probably just went up and said, "Yeah, I can do this. No stretching, whatever." And bang.
Yeah.
Shit, I haven't thrown a ball for 20 years.
And then he's like, "I hope no one was filming." Oh, everyone.
There's 5,000 cameras.
Avril Lavigne, Mariah Carey, and The Situation have all thrown ceremonial pitches.
I am so happy that
into the dirt. He threw it into the dirt.
That the Situation is in there as a terrible, terrible baseball player.
Not surprisingly, people in awkward costumes have not fared very well. Cookie Monster, Charlie Brown.
There must have been a Star Wars theme on like a Chewbacca or a Darth Vader, because they have a Star Wars day.
I'm sure they have, but in my research, maybe they just threw mediocre pitches because I just have good and bad. Okay. Guy in a Tyrannosaurus Rex costume.
There's no arm.
Yeah.
Although I have seen a guy in a Tyrannosaurus Rex costume do American Ninja.
I've seen that too.
But he went halfway, because there was one part where you really had to reach up. So.
And Santa Claus also had a depressingly slow pitch that failed to reach the plate.
Wow.
And
Santa.
President Barack Obama threw high and away.
High and away.
Really embarrassingly. Really, really embarrassingly.
He's a better basketball player.
Many, many boos. And probably the reason why Donald Trump is not going out there to throw is because he knows he's going to get booed, as every president does.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that Donald Trump can't handle being booed.
Yeah.
Can't handle being booed. Our medical correspondent is chiming in.
Yes.
Thank you, Penny. You don't have a segment today. Anyhow, anything else we want to talk about?
No, I figured we were going a different aspect with the rituals, but I actually really liked what you did with that, which was actually kind of cool because I had specific baseball player rituals, but that's going to take forever.
Well, we could talk about it next week.
Yeah.
Put it on the shelf.
Just for the fact that I'm just going to tell you that there's one guy who wasn't an ambi turner. He would never turn right on the field because you could only run around the base path left. So even when he was fielding, he would go left continually.
Like when he played the game of baseball.
Oh yeah,
during an actual game.
During an actual game, if something made him turn right, he would actually spin around. Granted, he played for 3 seasons, but only 41 games for that span. So
yeah, I wonder why.
That's probably the reason. Probably the reason. But yeah, no, I'm happy with what we've done today.
Well, then I feel like we put in some pretty decent minutes.
Yeah,
Unless you got something to add, you want to talk about what happened in baseball this?
Yeah, we already covered that. I mean, I can't really give you a farm report because they're all up here.
They're all here. It is no longer a farm. Mm-hmm. We are just the farmers.
Yeah, we're just the farmers. So I figure we can wrap this bad boy up.
Great. Well, everybody, thank you so much. And big thanks to Henderson Brewery for always throwing us the swag and supporting the show. And if you guys want to do something like this as well, we use a little platform called Stage10.tv. It's a web-based platform, and it's really good for sending out broadcasts and podcasts, audio and video. Apparently, there's screen sharing, and we're going to figure that out too. So there we go. That's we'll see you next week. And until then, my name is David Bronfman.
My name is Greg Howard.
And please stay safe.
The 40 men of David Bronfman and Greg Howard. And produced by Greg Howard. Oh, it's part of my Henderson Brewing Company. Henderson, come here. Oh, filming around in the day. Everything, how about the